What's wrong with me? Is it me or is it everything around me? I keep asking myself that as I sit here thinking, and there's more to it, I think. The more everything seems to dissolve, I feel like I'm just being trapped under a bell jar and there's no air, no escape, just me and my thoughts pressing in from all sides. And it's not just me. It never is. This world is filled with symbols. Things that stand for something more. Like in the bell jar, there are 3 that have really just stuck with me. I feel like they're just haunting, echoing over and over in my mind. The first and most obvious, it's the bell jar itself. You know, Sylvia Plath didn't just pick it randomly. She introduced it early on, and it involves becoming more suffocating and more terrifying as the time goes on. It represents the suffocating weight of my isolation. And at first, you know, it's subtle. It's like this veil separating you from the whole world. But the longer it stays, you know, the more you feel like you're just drowning in your own mind, trapped under glass, watching the world go on without you. You can scream, but no one will hear. The bell jar is more than just a symbol of mental illness. It's the distortion of everything that, you know, comes around me, and it warps reality, and everything just feels off. The more I spiral, you know, the harder and heavier it becomes. The pressure, it's just pushing down tighter and tighter until breathing feels impossible. And then there is the fig tree. And that one always gets to me. It's not just a tree. It's a metaphor for, you know, a choice, or rather the fear of it. Esther sees these branches spreading out, and each fig represents, you know, different paths she could take. Love, family, career, adventure. But no matter what she chooses, you know, these others, they rot away, disappearing forever. And she's paralyzed. That's me too. You know, all these paths laid out for me, and the fear of making the wrong choices just, they keep me from choosing at all. Sylvia Plath wrote that symbols, she wrote these symbols because she knew, you know, she knew what it was like to be trapped between possibilities, terrified, and that she will make the wrong decision, and that wrong decision will leave you with nothing. And the fig tree is more than just a symbol of choice. It's a symbol of paralysis, this overwhelming weight of expectations, of having to choose a life path. You know, that just suffocates me more than anything. And then there's the mirror. That's the third symbol. And this one, every time she looks in this mirror, it's like seeing a stranger. Her reflection comes warped and distorted and unrecognizable. And it's a reflection of her fractured identity, honestly. Her slipping sense of self. And I feel that way too. Like, I stare at my own reflection and I don't see myself anymore. Just an empty version of me. Mirrors, reflections, they're supposed to show the truth. But in this world, the bell jar, they only show you how lost you are, how far you've fallen. But, you know, each of these symbols, whether it's the bell jar or the fig tree or the mirror, connects the world around us. These suffocating feelings of being trapped under glass mirrors, the tight, judgmental society we live in. The fig trees, you know, looming branches that match the weight of expectations placed on us. Especially as women, in the mirror, well, that's a reflection of fractured, broken world around us. And Sylvia Plath, she didn't just use these symbols for the sake of poetry. No, you know, she deepened our understanding with these characters. Esther's isolation, you know, grows more oppressive under the bell jar. Her indecision becomes crippling, and with the fig tree hanging over her, in her reflection, it's just a reminder that she's slowly losing herself. But there are also symbolic actions in this novel, like Esther's suicide attempt. It's not just an act of despair. It's the symbol of feeling invisible, unheard, unimportant. When she tries to end it all, it's not just because she wants to die. It's because she feels like she's already dead. And like that person she used to be no longer exists. Sylvia Plath chose these symbols deliberately. She knew that through them, she could make the readers feel the same crushing weight that Esther felt, how I feel. It's her way of showing the inner turmoil that words alone couldn't express. And now, here I am. The bell jar closes tighter. The fig tree choices are slipping away, and my reflection disappearing more every day. And all I can think about is, what's wrong with me? I think Sylvia Plath wrote this book to answer the question for herself. These symbols she used, they were a way of her screaming into the void, of making sense of her own pain. And through this story, maybe she hoped someone else would understand. But what if no one else understands?